Hola clase, ¿cómo están? ¿Bien? Hoy es el 7 de abril del 2020. No sé si ustedes se acuerdan, pero en febrero nosotros estábamos hablando del pluscuamperfecto o past perfect, which is formed by using había and the past participle of the verb. Había viajado, había perdido, había incluido, etc. Now, when we talked about the uses of the past perfect, we mentioned that the past perfect, like in English, had, bought, is used mostly when you talk about a past action which occurred before a certain point in the past. In other words, a past action preceding another past action. So let's look at the examples. Decidí comprar una cámara digital nueva porque la vieja se me había roto varias veces. So, taking today as the present and looking back into the past tense. So, I use the past tense, preterite, saying I decided to buy a new camera because the other one had broken many times before that. Let's look at a different example. Cuando por fin les dieron la patente, otros ingenieros ya habían inventado una tecnología mejor. So, present tense, when they gave him the patent, they had already invented a different kind of technology by that time. Okay? Now, notice that in both of these examples, there are two clauses. There is one clause in the preterite, and there's another clause in the past perfect. Now, it doesn't always have to be two clauses. If you look at this example here, nunca se había desmayado nadie. No one had ever fainted. Now, it's not very common to see in just one clause, but you can see, especially if you designate, for example, a specific point in time. Let's say, for instance, by the time I was 12, so a los 12, I had already learned how to swim. Ya había aprendido a nadar. So, if you're trying to convey that you had already learned to swim by the time you were 12, you could say, I learned to swim before I was 12. But another way to do it is, I had already learned to swim before I was 12. Now, in such case, we're going to use some of those keywords like antes, for example. Before 17, I was already in a lockdown, many of you, right? Nunca, todavía, ya. Some of those keywords like never, already, etc. Okay? Now, one thing that you can't do in Spanish, unlike English, you see, in English, I can say I had never gone to Disney prior to this time. You see how you put I had never and then gone, never, had never gone? The three things are separate. Now, you put never in the middle. You actually put never, you sandwich between two verbs. In Spanish, you can never sandwich things between two verbs, so you couldn't do that. All right? Now, with that said, let's take a look at the project which you started back in February. Remember, the goal of the project was to create 10 slides. Okay? Each slide would have a historical figure, and I said it could be an inventor, a president, a celebrity, okay? And I also mentioned event. What I don't want in this project, remember, is that you would focus just on one category. For example, musicians, okay, or celebrities. I want you to think about events, think about historical figures, etc. Okay? So let's go over the directions here for the project. So each slide, if you recall, should have a picture of the event, or celebrity, inventor, president, historical figure, you name it. So that's the first part, the picture. The second part is a statement about when the person was born or when the event occurred. So we have here Thomas Edison nació en el año 1847. Okay. Then a statement in Spanish what this person did. Okay. En 1879 inventó el primer bombillo. And the third example was what had already accomplished this person by a certain day. A los 33 años ya había inventado el bombillo. Okay. So you can do this with many things. You can think about inventions. You can think about celebrities. For example, a celebrity that had released an album. Okay, so this celebrity is 33 years old, and this celebrity has published an album already, and now let's say this person got a Grammy, and you can do a simple math and say at age 34 or 32 or whatever age, this person had already received the Grammy. A los 33 años ya había ganado el premio Grammy. And you can do this with presidents, you can do this with a variety of things. Okay, so what's the classwork for today? Okay, so these are basic instructions which basically tell what I just telling you now. And el Pluscuamperfecto, these are directions that I just went over. And this project will be worth the same as an assessment. Now, I know some of you have already finished that assessment, finished this project. If you have finished that already, then simply upload to this entry in Google Classroom. Okay? All right.